Little bit of weird vibes going down in Dolphin land right now as the contract talks between the Miami Dolphins and Tua Tagovailoa are coming to a little bit of a standstill headed into training camp, as the Miami Dolphins reportedly are not willing to give Tua the kind of money that Trevor Lawrence and Jared Goff got this offseason. And if you remember, a couple weeks ago, while meeting with the media, Tua did say, verbatim, the market is the market. So it's pretty clear that Tua's camp is expecting a market-level deal, $55-60 million bucks in that area. And Chris Grier and company, they're not willing to give it up yet. So is this going to lead into a holdout or something that drags into the regular season? I do think that this is going to drag into the regular season because I don't think the Dolphins are going to be willing to fork up that money. And really, they have no incentive to, as let's say hypothetically Tua does hold out. I mean, at that point, he's shooting himself in the foot, right? Because he's only been healthy 1 year of his NFL career, and his stats are top 5 in the league. There's no arguing statistically he should be paid as a top quarterback. That's why his camp is asking for that kind of money. I understand that. But from a business perspective and from a team building perspective, if you're the GM of the Dolphins, you could look at those stats, and I'm not saying you have to ignore them, but when the Dolphins have had a step up in competition, the quarterback play has not been the same. There's no debating that. If you're a Dolphin fan, a Tua lover, or a Tua critic, there's no debating that you're so far to this point in his career, you've gotten a different quarterback in those big late season games. And you can't ignore that fact as a fan of the Miami Dolphins, because I get it. The night Tua was drafted, I instantly bought a jersey. I was so excited for Tua to be our quarterback, as I watched him in college like a lot of you have, and I was certain he was going to be a great NFL quarterback, and I most certainly don't want to be wrong about that. I would love to be proven right. And there's still a great chance that I am right, and many of you out there are right. He could be a Super Bowl contending quarterback. However, to get paid this top-of-the-line dollar, these lucrative contracts that these quarterbacks are getting, you got to prove without a shadow of a doubt that you're up there. And some people think he has proven that. And I'm not saying you're 100% wrong, but I do disagree. I don't think he's proven that he is a top-tier quarterback. If you remember that Buffalo game, he threw a terrible interception to lose that one. He shrunk in the Kansas City game, had a tough game against Baltimore. Even a couple of those games against teams that aren't so great, like the Raiders and the Giants, he struggled in those games, even though they were wins. He is not Patrick Mahomes. He's not Josh Allen, and I wouldn't expect him to be. But if you're going to get this top-of-the-line deal that's really going to hinder your ability to spread the money out to other positions, well, then you have to make up for limitations on your team. All right, if you're paying the quarterback, you're investing in that position, top-line money, he has to be able to make up for limitations. He has to be able to make up for a less-than offensive line, for a less-than receiving core. And Tua does some of those things, but listen, before Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle came along, I get that it wasn't the best receiving core, but, he looked really limited. And, of course, with Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, he looks like a serviceable quarterback. He doesn't look out of this world. And he's still young, and there's still development to be had. But I think the Dolphins are making the right move if they hold out on giving him top-of-the-line money. I'm not saying don't make an offer. which they have, you should throw an offer out there. But if he wants this top-of-the-line contract, well, then you go out there and play for it this year then. And then we'll talk. And I think that's what the Dolphins are going to do. Your guy, but I do think that this is the right move, at least when we look at building the team and from a business perspective and a salary cap perspective. So we'll see what happens. We'll see how it plays out, but just want to throw my 2 cents out there. Let me know if I'm incorrect in everything I'm saying in the comments, or don't. I don't really care. All right.